Hello YouTube and welcome to Spa. You're joining me in the preparation for the 24 Hours of Spa race being hosted by the LowFuelMotorsport guys and 505 Games. And for this race we are running the Aston Martin V8 GT3. I'm also joined by some friends in this race. We've got Dennis Shops, who's racing in the Lamborghini Huracan GT3 Evo 2. Bit of a tongue twister. And Luke Wilson, who is in the Ford Mustang GT3. Now this is a 90-minute race with the same race conditions that we're going to be using in the 24 Hours of Spa, which is at the time of recording this was done on the Monday, and we've got like 5 days before the actual race starts, which is the Saturday coming up. So at this point here, we're still learning the setup a little bit. We've still got a lot to figure out with how the car's going to behave. But we've also got a lot to figure out in the tyre wear side of things. We don't really know, this race gave me a lot of information which told me this, but we don't really know how the tyres are going to behave. So now this is the first proper flying lap that I got a chance to do. I did an out lap, I completely botched my first lap, and then now we were like, right, let's get serious now. You can see my tyres are a little bit under pressure. But it's not the end of the world. I can still do a decent lap with this. In practice, I was running a mid-16s. The temperature is a little bit lower than what I ran in practice. So we're doing 19 right now. It's the first of the 2 real proper flying laps that I actually get the opportunity to have. But as you can see, we're having a nice run down the Kemmel Straight. The T1 wasn't the best. It could definitely have been way worse, but again, it's my first flying lap. Traditionally, everyone who's ever watched any of my content, whether it be on YouTube videos, or Twitch live streams, everyone always knows I absolutely suck at qualifying. So my door number says P12. If I could get P12 or thereabouts, I was pretty happy. Obviously, we have to see how we get on. That was pretty rough, that corner there. A bit of a slide going through it. I found overall the car was quite unstable off throttle and then really understeering on throttle. So it definitely seemed to be a diff issue. It's something that we have looked at since then, and the diff has been amended. It turned out it was the diff issue. Not a driver fault whatsoever, obviously, because why would it be? So still looking okay, even through Piff Path. It's not too bad. A bit twitchy here or there. Steering not the greatest. Coming into Stavolo. Not bad. Probably could be faster. Stavolo 2. Decent. Managed to stay flat throughout the entire corner. Okay, we can live with this. According to the app at the bottom, it does say I should be finishing P6 after the end of this lap. But obviously we've still got a fair few minutes to go before we get to that point. And I don't think it's accurate anyway when I haven't yet done a lap. Because apparently I'm 2.4 seconds up and I'm almost certainly not. So we'll see. Coming into the bus stop. Not the fastest. This is definitely a weak area for me. I 100% lose so much through here. We've come to the line. We managed to do a 16.970, which puts us currently P7. So I guess the app was actually pretty accurate. So now you join me on my final push lap. This is literally just crossed the line with 7 seconds to spare to start the next lap. Hopefully we can get in a great lap that puts us in that top 10 because we're right on the cusp. So T1, not the best. Missed the apex by quite a margin. So we haven't got a good run going up into Eau Rouge Raidillon. And you could argue that that is probably the most important area of this track, given how much time is won or lost through T1. But we didn't let it stop us. We were still up on Delta, albeit marginally. So we'll see how we get. I think we even get about a 10th by the end of the Kemmel Straight. Yeah, it's looking about that, yep. It's 0.11. Hard on the brakes, turn in. Not bad. Cozy through there. Sacrificing a bit so I can open up this right-hander here. Missed the apex again there. But still 2.5 tenths up. So that's fine. We can live with this. Coming into Ravage. Slowed down a little bit too much, I think. But it's still, up on the Delta. We're feeling the pressure right now. Not the best through there. Losing Delta now. I think I should have stayed in third, to be truthfully honest. But it is what it is. I'm learning as I go. That's exactly what this race is for. This is to give us a good insight into how I'm going to behave in the actual race. But we found time through Pouhon So we're up to 3.5 tenths now. We just need to not mess up Piff Path, not mess up Stavler, and then we're all right. 4 tenths now, really gaining so much delta back. Can we keep it together? Half a second almost up? This is like a god tier lap from me. 16.4, half a second up. But I had to lift. I lost easily, what, 2 tenths I think, because of that lift? Lost a tenth straight away. Was sort of hanging on just a touch, but imagine if I just was able to hold that flat throughout there. It was something, again, that I'd complained about in the setup. Bus stop could be worse, getting a bit of pressure from behind from Moritz. Not that we're overtaking in quali, but we end up only gaining 2 tenths. What could have been, had we got that together, we could have been sat P8 maybe right there in front of that Lexus, but it is what it is. Okay, race start. We crack on straight over to the actual race start. Formation lap was just getting ourselves together. Had a bit of issues with the calculations of my fuel. I wasn't really sure how much I should have gone, so I put in a lot for the first stint. Remember, 48-minute stints. There is a pit stop, so we have to do at least one full stop. And we need to have a good start here. We've got Dennis on my inside on the right, so I got to make sure that I don't have any issues off the line. I'm surrounded by faster accelerating cars. Mistakes were made here. A bit of a slide, but I caught it, and I see on the radar everyone around me is having a mare, Dennis included. He did get a bit of contact, and it did affect his run all the way up Eau Rouge, which is how he's fallen behind. So overall, I think we still gained. But it was a little silly mistake on my part where I just turned a bit too much and lift off a bit too much and lost the back end. But I caught it, no harm done. It actually worked out for us. We also unintentionally avoided an incident. So we resume the race. I think we are P10. Whoa, almost get a bit jump scared there by that Lexus when that Ferrari sends it down the inside. Maybe there's an opportunity. Looking for the outside, then back out, switch back. And obviously not going to get the run on the Lexus there. We're happy to settle in. P10. We're happy with this. We just need to make sure we don't get sent by anybody. We've got Striga behind, who is a very fast driver. Didn't realise that at this point here. So actually, probably not the wisest decision. I start fighting him just to think he turns into me here actually, which sort of sent me out wide a little bit. I also missed the apex, which didn't help. Nothing really that anybody needs to do about it, just, you know, one of those situations. But yeah, I need to try and keep myself as close to this pack as possible, but I end up fighting the Bentley a little bit too hard, which cost us a little bit. We could have gained on this Lexus here had I not had that issue. But maybe we can get a run going into Blanchimont. Look for the inside. Not going to get it, so we have to lift. We're still here though, he's run off wide. Can we be later on the brakes? Hard on the brakes. Coming into the bus stop. Around the outside. What a move. If we could pull this one off. Get on the apex. Kind of force him just a little bit out wide. We've definitely owned in the corner. And we gain that position. But T1 does mean that we're very likely to be in a fight as we go towards the Kemmel Straight. And we do have the Bentley right up behind us, which does actually get through on the Lexus, so that does help us quite a lot. But we just fast forward now to the next lap, and again coming in towards turn 1, the Bentley's still right up the back of us, so we do have to be concerned about this as we go towards Eau Rouge Radion. It's looking unlikely that we're going to be able to hold this position. Cover him off just a little bit. I didn't want to compromise my run entirely up Eau Rouge Radion. Wanted to make sure that there was still a good chance for me to get a clean line up the hill. But you can see the Bentley is just too close. There's no real opportunity for me to defend this. Or is there? Because now he's pulled alongside me. Suddenly, I've got the advantage in the top speed. I'm late on the brakes anyway. He's later. I'm trying to give him enough room on the inside to make sure I don't kill him. We are side by side going through it. Coming out the other end. I'm just ahead, but is it going to be enough? He could be late on the brakes. It's going to be hard to get an outside. But he goes super late on the brakes. No way that he's going to get that position on me. And we then just drive out wide. He's maintained the speed, but hasn't yet got it through No Name. So I can hold on to P9 for now. We do, however, need to make sure that we maintain this even further into this race. So through P1. Bentley's still coming at me again. Right up my rear end here. Again, opting for the outside into Piff Path. Very much getting aggressive. Not necessarily trying to hit me, just turned in a little bit too early. Has the inside for the second part. And at this point, I'm realizing there's no real point here fighting him. I'm just going to lose the train ahead. So let him go. We'll see what happens after that. And I'll start worrying about Dennis behind me in the Lamborghini. So again, fast forwarding to the next lap. This time, the Bentley's a little bit further up the road. The Lamborghini behind of Dennis is very much eyeing me up for a potential position. 0.2 behind as we go up over his Radeon, which does put him in a good position to have a good run on me at the end of the Kemmel. You can see in the rear view mirror there at the top, Dennis is really coming for it. So late defensive move from me, just put him on the inside. He did say in voice comms he couldn't see the brake marker, which is what made him back out there. And so I just maintained the position. A little bit further on in this lap then, and you can see I run off wide and get my first warning of the race. Not ideal. We've only got an hour and 19 minutes to go. You've got a 24-hour race you're preparing for. You want to be getting 0-1 is get quite the sniff from Dennis. But it's okay. So Dennis behind here is getting sent by the one and only George Boothby. Esports driver, actually won the SRO Sprint Series twice, I believe. So now, if we needed any more pressure, what more than having the SRO Sprint Champion behind you? But obviously, I'm not afraid of defending a little bit. And I get a little bit aggressive. Unintentionally, I get my elbow out. I give him a little bit of a tap there. Actually, at the moment in the race, I thought it was his fault. I reviewed the replay and realised it was entirely my fault. So, sorry, George. Again, fast forwarding a little bit more to lap 11 now, and Dennis is right up my crevice, getting probably the best run he's had for quite a while. Again, I think about defending. Dennis breaks that a little bit later. Very respectful is Dennis. He gives me the room, doesn't force me off the track. We stay side by side through Lacombe, sorry. And I just managed to keep myself in front of him with a later, more momentum carried, through that corner there. The pressure is definitely heating up. Again, as the race went on, I started to lose grip. And speaking of losing grip, so does Dennis, who brakes just a tiny bit too late and actually loses control of his car. And you can see he's stationary for quite a while here. He's trying to rejoin safely. He does end up getting a lot of damage as a result of that mistake there. And look how far back now he is. He's just losing out constantly. Even Luke Wilson managed to capitalize on it as well. But again, now fast forward to lap 19. The rest of the stint was just sliding and a bit of a tap with the wall there. Rookie mistake. I wasn't sure if I'd sped into the pit lane there either. So a bit concerned we might be getting a drive-through or a stop-go 30. Bit of panic there with the fuel at the last second. Just switching to 75 litres. I also I don't even notice that, but I completely messed up my pit stop. Not only did I miss my pit box by a margin or two, I also, instead of turning off the engine, turned off the pit limiter and then turned off the engine. So I lost a bit more time doing that, which you can see brings this Ferrari in front of us. We should really have been in front of them. They also had issues themselves, but we should really have been in front of them. So here's what it is. We lick our wounds. We're thankful we didn't get the drive-through or the stop-go 30, and we got a pretty good run actually coming out of the pit lane on this Ferrari. We're not really sure what's going on with him, but we're looking for a potential move. Switch to effectively the outside, but we'll have the inside for the next corner if I can maintain it. I back out anyway. Let the Ferrari resume the position, and let's just fight another day. He's going very slowly though. This is a different driver to the one who was in it previously. There were driver swaps available for this race, so we're now going to have to go around the outside of Rivage. It's going to be very tight, hugging at the inside for them, making it really difficult, and we do get a very clean move done on the Ferrari of Buzas. So fast forwarding now to lap 29. We're coming onto the home straight, and we can see the lap times between P9 and myself is actually quite massive. I'm gaining on him very quickly. So we go again, fast forwarding a fair few more laps of me just constantly closing in on this Lexus. and we're starting to realise we're no longer alone in this fight. Steinbrenner, who had a stop-go 30 earlier in the race because of track limit, not stop-go 30, so drive-through because of track limits, ends up coming out behind us. They came out behind us by quite some margin, but because of the insane pace that Steinbrenner has, was actually able to close in. But we are running on the last lap here, so we've got 40 seconds left. The leaders don't have enough time to get this extra lap in. My tyres are already pretty cooked, and here Steinbrenner starts to reel me in. I thought I could potentially get P9, especially with my lap time difference between Humer and myself, but Steinbrenner really turned the wick up there and started to close in on me very quickly. I start making mistakes, and it just made it even easier for him to close in. So with 10 seconds left on the clock, I know the pressure is on. I just need to get to the end of this race and hold on to this P10. Considerably higher than I expected to be, but we just need to hold out. So an okay run through there, not the fastest. Again, a little bit of a slide there on the rear. The Delta is showing that I'm losing time. I can see him coming in and my eyes are staring at that mirror. 0.6 is the gap. Leaders finish the race. We know we're not doing a bonus lap. Safety. We just need to get to the end and hold this position. Coming into pith path. Not the worst. So we're okay. We're maintaining. Again, I'm playing it cautious because I'm trying to make sure I don't lose out. Sort of maintaining that delta. But this is the key bit. This is where, if Steinbrenner's going to get us, this is where it's going to be. The run through Blanchimont into the bus stop. The tow very much in their favour. 0.5 is the gap. Had to spend a speed token there. I knew I was going to run out wide anyway, but really didn't want to lose this position, so I just kept the foot firmly down, using the final speed token, coming up towards the bus stop chicane. Hard on the brakes. The gap is just a bit too big. Steinbrenner doesn't go for a desperation send. We come into the final corner, and yes, we didn't get P8, but we did secure P10, and that was fine. We were happy with that. It says P9, but it's only because somebody up the front had quit out the session. You can see P10, not bad. Good insight, very, very important. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys in the 24 hour.